Okay. Now we're so happy to have Elaine here. You're recording. Okay. Well, Naomi, can you pray for us?
Yes. Father, we love you, Lord. I just thank you, Lord, for your love for us. Lord, I thank you for this time. Lord, I pray that you would, Lord, just calm our hearts and our minds, Lord, as we learn from you, Lord, learn from, Lord, your ways. Lord, I thank you for this teaching time and for Noah and Emmanuel teaching us, and I pray that we would just all be blessed during this time and whoever listens in, and I pray this in your name. Amen.
Well, can somebody remind me where we were last time? Because my Chinese version
again. I think we're on 8.12.
Okay. So. Okay, it is. 子曰：“3年学，不至于古，不亦得也。” Okay, Elijah, why don't you read the translation for us?
The master said, "It is not easy to find someone who is able to learn for even the space of 3 years without a thought given to official salary."
That's awkward translation, right? So, okay, we're going to have Elaine read for us commentary, so
sure.
And comment on it for us.
Confucius is again lamenting the fact that the majority of his contemporaries were focused upon external goods and saw learning as merely a means to an end, that is, an official position and the prestige and salary that went with it. A great deal of commentarial ink has been spilled over the significance of a 3-year period, but as Huan Maoyong notes, the sense is not 3 temporal periods. 3 years simply means a long time.
That's right. That's basically like we read the Bible sometimes talking about 1 day like 1,000 years, 1,000 years like 1 day, and right? So 7 weeks, 1 week, basically period of time describing a sense of length of time, right? So we can do, so. Okay, that being said, Elaine, do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, I just understand it as it's hard to find someone who will dedicate themselves to something without the initial thought being, what can I get out of this?
Yes. Not easy to find someone. Yeah, he don't like that kind of students, right? So have almost like a worldly pursuit with his education in a sense. So, and with that, evidently become a barrier and disturbance for him to truly impart the kind of cultural vision, cultural endowment he wants to engage in, right? So, unfortunately, in terms of education of young people, even in our own education, we always feel that tension, right? Making sense in ourselves. So, comments? Anybody else on this part? Why you guys doing learning? Of how you want to be a mechanic, a doctor, something of that nature. So basically, you want to take on the profession, seek a career, and oftentimes the essence of try to learn how to learn the cultural ways of relationships and character building is a little bit misplaced or absent, right? So that's especially true in today's of governmental or public schooling, So, Noah, you comment on this. You might have more thoughts on these lines.
Yeah, this is a good example too of just the master expressing his concern, not merely with exactly what people do, but the way in which they do it. So the the kind of heart or mindset carried behind the way people approach learning is he sees it's generally, like Elaine was saying, given to a thought towards practical and self-centered usage of, say, how does this, in a sense, develop my ability to gain an official salary. So he sees that most of the time people don't see something as in many ways as important and even sacred as something like learning as a way to learn and bring about a certain way of thinking rather than to simply develop one's ability to take care of oneself and develop oneself in life. So
what do you think the master here, he evidently not happy with this, what kind of students he will be happy with? We actually learn something about that, right, in the former discussions, so Eileen, do you have any impression what kind of student he wants, basically? What is kind of student he will be impressed with?
Well, I think given the time period, I mean, at least the diligence and fortitude to stick through with something. And then as far as, like, what they get out of it is more than just, monetary gain or,
temporal gain.
Temporal gain. But more of, a desire for a lasting gain through what they're applying themselves towards.
A way of life, in a sense. Noah, do you have some recollection on those aspects? The master comments on other students. Sometimes give praise to students, right? Sometimes he give credit to students. So
he typically tend to praise the students that would humbly accept his teachings and afterwards put it into earnest practice. And what was the student? Is Yan Hui?
Yan Hui.
Yeah.
Yan Hui. Yeah.
So that serves as a good example of. And he was that the very same student that others tended to view as a lowly and even dumb person, but he nonetheless was someone
He's
that slow.
He's slow. He's not that sharp in a sense. So, but he always try to practice, meditate on what he learned. Even he's slow, but he very diligent with what he learned. So. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay. Wow, this is all about how to learn, actually, how to be a good disciple, maybe. So, my Chinese said, 子曰，懂性好学，守死善道。为邦不入，乱邦不居。天下有道则显，无道则隐。邦有道，贫且贱也，耻也；邦无道，富且贵也，耻也。Oh, this is one of the most famous segments of Confucius thought. So, but we're going to have Naomi to read for us the translation.
The master said, "Be sincerely trustworthy and love learning, and hold fast to the good way until death. Do not enter a state that is endangered, and do not reside in a state that is disordered. If the way is being realized in the world, then show yourself. If it is not, then go into
Reclusion.
In a state that has the way, to be poor and of low status is a cause for shame. And a state that is without the way is to be wealthy and honored is equally a cause for shame."
The word is the same. Each word, but this is mainly a public perception, right? Than a personal attitude. So I'll read the commentary.
According to Bao Xian, the fact that a state is endangered means that disorder is imminent. And Zhu Xi explained that although one already serving as an official has a duty to remain and try to protect an endangered state, it is permissible for an outsider to refrain from entering into such a state. Once a state has degenerated into a moral disorder, defined by Bao Xian as a situation where ministers are assassinating lords and sons, killing fathers, a gentleman's duty is to leave the state rather than sully himself by remaining. The end of the passage reiterates this theme. When there is an opportunity for virtuous service, it would be shameful for the gentleman to remain in obscurity and poverty. When nothing but immorality and corruption prevails, however, it would be equally shameful for the gentleman not to withdraw.
So, anybody comment on this one? This is I have lots to comment on, and apply to whether your historical knowledge of current political arenas, stuff like that. Especially in the biblical time, there are some applications as well. So, Elijah, any thoughts? Because see a person is looking at realistic ways of life in a
it's
political and right in a historical setting in a sense. So yeah.
It seems like it makes a point of a lot of things that we've talked about in other Saturday meetings, just about learning and just leading that kind of way of life and thinking of just a more open state of mind to learn and to carry that way of life until you die and to pass it on. But yeah.
The last element in a state that is not present away, why it is shameful to become wealthy and highly honored.
Why
is it shameful to have a prominence in a state that is not follow the way, the good way of life in a sense?
Because then you're supporting something that's not the way.
Exactly, it means in alliance with it, right? You're not being challenged by it.
In many ways, you represent it as the wealthy individual person.
Exactly. I don't want to be political, but let's look at today's news. You know, Russia is an oligarchy and a little bit corrupted, and right, a little bit authoritarianism kind of states right now. So there's a lot of people support that regime by not being sanctioned or being challenged. You know, so they were still rally the support around that policy that invade Ukraine. Let's apply that living situation here. Esther, if you are with a family or with friends, would you say it's a good idea? Let's fly into Ukraine right now because it's fun to have a tour. You know, it's danger, right? There's a war everywhere. There's danger. Surely you don't want to get into it, right? So rather take it off. And certain people was warned ahead of time, said, hey, better leave it as soon as possible. And certain people, no, it's not going to have a war going on, nothing going to happen to us. So we hear a lot of cry today, said, hey, you know, we want to get out, we can't get out. They said, make sense to you, you know, so. Now I don't mean get out is a good thing. I'm talking about if you want to defend that nation, you need to make up your mind, you will do that, right? And regardless what the outcome of the war, you're going to stay there. But if you just don't care about it, it's just like, man, it's just how it happens, anything goes. But it's not that kind of small danger. And right, once a war before a nation, your life totally changed. And you think it's the same like yesterday, right? So it never changes. That little bit basically a careless mindset, making sense to engage an impending danger. So in a sense, all here was talking about first is practically evaluate what kind of life you engage in with the reality presented in this case, what kind of nation, right? As they had peace and war, stuff like that. And The second is that if you live in this nation, you live long enough. This is from the entry, right? This is to be a resident somewhere. If you live long enough, how you standing, how you progress your life in it. Let's say you live in a nation for 10 years. If the nation is bad, you become rich and famous in that nation. That means you're not a good person, right? You, as Noah said, endorsed corrupted government or corrupted culture there. Let's look at the Bible. Who did that? God's judgment come around. They had to basically barely escape on the edge of teeth. Who is that in the Bible? Remember?
The Israelites.
Israelites. Okay.
Talking about Lot's family?
Yeah, Lot's. Yeah, Lot's is a good example for sure. That's a good example. But in Lot's family, there are three responses to this danger, right? God's judgment is pronounced, revealed, but is everybody escaped? Let's look at the family of Lot. They have two daughters, have a wife. What happened to the wife, Esther?
She looked back and turned.
She looked back. Evidently, why she looked back implies she still don't want to go, right? Still think the life is good. When God said, that's terrible life. I'm going to bring judgment to it, So anyway, all those things, whether it's from biblical stories, realistic political arena today, you have to make decisions if you're really there. And then looking back other histories, we can make a sound judgment to say, okay, if I have the freedom to move around, where I going to direct my life with, right? What community I'm going to live with, what nation I live under. Why people migrate wanted to come over here? Because this place have a lot of blessings in life, right? So opportunities, law and order, then a lot without political oppression, a lot of things make it into we take for granted. I can't, I know what I grew up with, can't even freely express your thoughts, so if you got caught, they're going to even put you in jail, right? If you really don't speak something terrible. And you can't really pursue your dream without restriction, so I'm not saying that foolishly doing things, but a lot of lack of freedom, lack of confidence to live life. So is this nation 100%? Obviously not. There's flaws, limitations as well. But better than other nations, right? So to still respect your personal dignity, still respect your personal right enumerated in the law. You see my point, so the government cannot come in and do whatever they want. We have a legal system that wanted to called due process, right? They go through a process. And anyway, there's a lot of restriction to the government, even it's corrupted, So the other way is prosperous. Now, let's see. The industry of today's industry, have a musical industry, have called actor, what called Hollywood? That called actors. Celebrity, yes. So evidently everybody is famous in that, and young people definitely get quick success if you get talented in that, right? So now you become a person in that regard. I'm not saying you don't succeed at doing the good things, but for the most part, how many percentage people really can succeed in there and have a pure and good life? Have you seen any? Have you seen any so far? Tell me, have you seen any? So in a sense, if you're successful in that way, I would have a huge doubt about whether you have a godly vision of life or not, right? It's not to be produced against things. It's by merely association, right? Your stand in life, what will make you successful, is worth speaking, right, to certain things. So, okay, I'm stopping. So, yeah. This, let me share something else. This word permanent problem in this generation. through human history, I think any solid, healthy culture is the profession teacher is always a respectful position, right? So you become a teacher, man, everybody cherish you, everybody honor you, everybody care about you, everybody want to take care of you, right? So I don't think that's merely a Chinese culture, right? That's every sensible culture, right? So I mean, basically, teachers is in at least a great help for parents to educate young people, right? So making sense to you. So well, therefore, teachers are more than just any profession make a living, right? They need to have a characters, they have skills, they have knowledge. Above all, they have a heart for the coming generation, right? So making sense to you. The parent continue able to partner with teachers to form the hope of future for the nation. So but is that still is the case, the most part in today's culture in America, or has dissipated? Parents fighting with teachers is not really trusted persons in general, right? To hope it's not this, but there's a lot of problem, right? So so and teachers feel, even good teachers, they feel I can't really speak out, I can't really do much, better leave the students alone. So you, especially bad ones, right? So that's on becoming basically. The teacher want to do the right thing. I heard on YouTube just cry, weep because they have the conscious inside of them torment them. They said I can't continue anymore. I can't just do this because I see young people being destroyed, nobody care about it. Want to do something that's being criticized, bombarded, and but I can't do that. I can't continue this profession year on year, year in year out, to see all these bad things begin to happen, and I can't do nothing about it. So now here we got a serious problem. So I mean, things getting changed. Now, in that light, what have you is basically the things degrading as a system, as a practice, if you will, very important for society, for culture, begin to not support for things, right? So, Confucius was using states to highlight the kind of cultural environment for one's long-term development life, right? How you carry your life. But the same way apply in any profession, in any micro environment, if you will. So Esther, if you have a bunch of young children, young boys and girls around someone doing bad stuff, and you are there just, okay, you may not doing bad stuff yourself, you are there happy, right? Sing songs with them, have party with them, whatever. So, and would your parents concerned about it or not? They will, obviously, so they may trust you very well and you never done anything wrong yourself. But the fact that your association with them is just literally saying it doesn't matter what lifestyle we carry, right? So, now good friends in your life, people want to have good relation with you. Because you're doing that, can they develop serious, deep relation with you, long-term relation with you? Obviously can. They see you doing something, they don't have hard for it, right? They have actually strong opinion against, right? So they say, yeah, Esther's a wonderful girl, wonderful friends. I really appreciate her, but I can't really do things for long term, right? With her, making sense, So, well, sometimes we just think along those lines. Confucius open up basically. When a wise person carries life, he studies the environment, study on long-term impact. The environment have you, as I maybe you, associated with that environment, what's your role in that environment. Look, God wants us definitely not to take for granted in weak things, but still He wants us to be wise, especially in young life or in time, your formative years of your life. You don't want to have bad people have bad influence around you. Is that making sense to you? I know, sounds like preaching to you, but it's true. You think that you pray for us for that. Yeah. It's a challenge, for any young minds It's always challenging, but you guys are doing this fine. But still, you need to pay attention to certain principles, right? So go ahead.
Yes, Father, I pray that you would help each one of us in this way, Father, to just give thought to our ways, to give thought to the way we engage things and receive wisdom, Father, and those who have been given to administer wisdom, Father. I just pray that you would bless this way and bless each heart in it in Jesus' name.
Unfortunately, Coach's statements always seems heavy. Talking lots of fly around, so let's just have a good time with it, you know. So they tell you deeper principles of life with bigger reasons. Next one is 子曰不在其位 excuse me 不谋其政 Okay, Esther, why don't you read the translation?
The master said, "Do not discuss matters of government policy that do not fall within the scope of your official duties."
I'm going to read the comments here and let no one read the sub-comments there. This seems to describe negative restrictions on one's actions imposed by the dictates of dutifulness. Elijah, what does dutifulness mean here? Dutifulness.
I don't know.
Anybody?
Well, you can just derive dutifulness from the word duty, which has a meaning of responsibility. So remaining true to one's responsibility in life, I think.
That's right, yeah. As Nan Xuan notes, it might first be understood as either criticism of Confucius' contemporaries for infringing on the official duties of others and acting above their stations, or as explanation for why the employed Confucius was not actively participating in the formulation of government policy. It's likely that both interpretations have some validity. Confucian refrained from actively doing government because his duty to provide general moral guidance rather than specific administrative advice. Okay, I'm going to read. Okay, as Zhou Yuanxi puts it, Confucius told Duke Ai only to raise up the street and put them over the crook. I forgot about it. Chinese, basically. Okay, they're like a ruler, right? Get the straight ones to measure out the crooked ones. He did not tell him that so and so should be promoted, so and so need to be straightened out. Basically, give the principle. He didn't tell the measure how to apply it. Or that anything specific should be done about the three families. Three families is the ruling class of days, noble families, have great influences, or rather, actually govern the state affair of the kingdom. In his conversation with Duke Jin, Confucius said only to let the Lord be a true Lord, the minister, true ministers, and fathers, true fathers, and sons, true sons. Is that amazing? Huh? Let everybody fulfill properly their duty and right given to them. Not everybody is a father, even he is named a father, position of the father. Is he a good father, godly father? We know that's true, right? How about the son? Is everybody a good son? Try to be a good son. Dramatic, right? Elijah, what do you think? Not every son wants to be a good son, right? So, rather than giving any specific advice about how to handle specific individuals, this is a sense of not discussing matters of government policy that do not fall within the scope of your official duties. Noah, can you read on there? So.
Huan Maoyong notes the parallels to be found in Mencius 5b5. It is a crime for those in a low position to discuss matters above their station, and the record of ritual. The gentleman does what is appropriate to his station and does not desire to go beyond it. This whole passage is repeated in 1426, where the addition gloss, or an addition gloss, the gentleman's thoughts do not go beyond his office, is provided by Master Zheng.
It seems we're contrary to modern democratic thinking, right? So obviously it's not always valid as well, but there is some wisdom to it, so basically if you're a wise person, you carry out your duty effectively, and you don't want to become discontent or disoriented or troubling, so like ambitious, am I, or something. Don't just using office as what is it called, as a stepping stone to something else, right? So for personal gain. So if you are settled, in a sense, you have a godly father, a godly king, in terms arrange positions, affairs in the family or in the states. I mean, sure, you can trust wisdom of your godly father, wisdom of a godly king, for your promotion, for your due honor and entrustment, right? So, but if you have an ungodly family, ungodly states going on, I mean, there's very hard to say what is good or bad in a sense, but still, you need to be faithful with what is given to you, the position you hold. Maybe you have godly influence over others. Let's look at the other picture. Besides the political setup, in terms of culture setup, but let's look at what the background where Confucius came. He never thought democracy practice is a possibility. Therefore, he can't speak from that angle, right? He can only speak from the point of view, those monarchies, the kingships, stuff like that, still in place. So he expecting the ones that have given position of trust by a king or by a father in their stead to be most content, but be diligent, wise with the position given to them, right? This is good stewards. Now let's look at the other picture. Is that if you have a godly king, you don't have a godly father, but then you have an official come to continue said, I'm not happy with my position. I think my superior is not doing the right things. His policy need to be changed. I think I have some right to criticize it and even change it. Am I compelled to change it? I mean, in those days, you had the democratic process. Therefore, the expression that is through personal maneuver or personal opinion, right? It's on health ways doing things. Bypass a godly counsel and order, a godly king on a godly father set up for that environment. Making sense to you? Now imagine this wise king, wise father. Does not he already set in motion the ways for discontent, ways for disagreement, ways for criticism of valid ones be counseled and resolved? Or I hope there is, right? Normally there is, but this guy just don't necessarily follow those routines in a sense. So he's become a troublemaker for the family or for the kingdom. We see those things happen in history continually, regardless what kind of format a government is. So those people, ambition, discontent, unhappy with other achievements, other position. So, and this happened in China history extremely regular, extremely sometimes disturbing. So because when a person of responsibility in that nature, when they do those things, the one suffers more than the guys competing with. The real sufferer is the people, the government, under the government. So making sense to it? So anyway, so that being said, let's move on. So Confucius, we're not talking about merely a personal character here. We're talking about a greater well-being of a state or entrustment, right? So there's a proper way of doing things, which is a matter to us in our culture building as a kingdom people to go about your counsel, disagreement, dissent, even or your criticism, right? So, in a proper way is actually very, very important. Just like you're doing things right, you receive the right counsel, you receive the orderly way of doing things. It's equally important when things that's not great, resolve problem, go through the process. Noah, can you give me example in the Bible with Jesus teaching about how to resolve conflict within the body?
I can't recall the exact steps, but it does have to do with bringing it before the elders of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And then the elders will warn, I think, the person a specific number of times until, is it 7 times? Or is that
Not
twice?
necessarily. So it gives a proper way. That's basically personal grievance. 77 times. But then he said eventually personal grievance cannot be contained on deal with the personal level. You have to deal with on a community level. And the first thing you want to do is confront the person, bring a friend, said, hey, I have grievances with you, I disagree with you, so here's my reason. And can you change, can you pay attention to that? And the person said, no, I don't have a problem, you are wrong, stuff like that. Then it's impossible for that kind of dialogue to happen. Then they had to bring to the elder, which in this case called the church. And the church make a decision, right? So that decision is supposed to be final because that's your community, so, and basically the person, happy or not happy, if I was the one being feel I'm wronged, and have grievances, the church leadership said, no, you're not supposed to have that grievances. All that grievances should be rested, so don't bring it up, so we're not going to agree with you what you think is right, because maybe you are in the wrong, or maybe you ignorant, or misunderstand things. That's gonna happen. The elders addresses that. So what do you expect is that a settled matter, basically, So that sounds crazy, huh? One elder, who is the elder that right to tell me what to do, in a sense, if I'm the guy on the receiving end, the crashing and disagreeable conclusions. Now, interesting enough, the Bible actually expound that in a greater concept. He said, this is actually good for you. Imagine if you don't have godly elders in your life to do those things for you. The next level you face is the secular world, the civic world. Do you think the judge, the law there is the people going to really care about you, have the patience and have the godly counsel go through things, make decisions for you? Option not, they're going to use the law, to condition you. So later on, Paul understood this in the practice of the Gentile world in our churches. He said, I heard you guys continue to bring your grievances to the secular government, secular courts to resolve your problem, rather than go through the process with our community, the elders, other getting to settle matters. He said, shame on you guys. Don't you know? You don't belong to the world. Don't you, can you just please pay attention, rather be wrong, rather than cause this disintegration of the whole setup of God for the benefit of the whole community, to just put it in toddlers, literally challenge it all and throw in the drain, basically. Oh, that sounds very, very American or Western, in modern thinking. But there's a great reason for that. Let's give a living example. Let's see Elijah going to... Elijah you befriend somebody who's very problematic, okay? Maybe, okay? So, and now I look around and say, hey, Elijah, I don't think you should develop a very solid relationship, even making serious life decisions with that kind of friends, right? So, and you don't listen, said, who are you to tell me what to do with my friendship? Imagine that scenario. I know none of you going to do that, right? So, but here, said, okay, Elijah really don't listen to me, don't see my heart, my conscience is, you know what, my father's not wrong in this occasion. He may travel in Thailand, stay there for the month, who knows, on vacation maybe, and that's my point. And you just met a friend, you said, let's go to have a motorcycle race. So, that's my point. It's we just bought a new motorcycle. Good to have a motorcycle race, and Noah said, hold on a minute. It's good to have a motorcycle and be friends with the person, but to have a race, that might be a problem. Who is encouraging that? Don't listen to your friend. Listen to me. Rather not do it. Maybe you can. Who knows? I'm just talking. Something dangerous. Your all evaluation. You have not experience or equipped to do it, right? So pretty sure. And here you don't listen. And then Naomi, Noah gonna talk to Naomi. You're a big sister. Young brother to really don't listen to me. Can you please let me explain the situation? What's going on? Let's explain to you why I'm concerned about this. Why I think we need to really deal with this before we stir everything up. Right? So and maybe he will listen to us to drop it. So Naomi, you're gonna come to. I hope you do. You will say, yeah, my young brother don't know what they sign up to. So maybe we can work together to stop you doing that, and explain to your friend why you're not capable of doing it. Maybe right now only 15, maybe 25 years old, you can make a decision. Nobody really is supposed to interfere in that decision. You can make that decision yourself. But you're not there, right? You're not even 20. So you, Naomi and Noah said, you still said, no, you can't tell me what to do. I want to do this. My friend said it's a good thing to do. There is contradiction. You shows a preference that you want to have the race going on, right? So now it's not personal in this case. They allow you, but you still want to do something, right? Eventually, should you be able to do it or not? Now, is your refusal to yield to their counsel could propel them to make this matter to report to your parents, right? So you're gonna call your parents in Thailand and say, hey, mom, you guys mom, dad, drop what you do. We have something urgent because tomorrow is a race. Tonight I need to really to talk Elijah out of this. So they were opinion because they're against you. So, but your mom, your dad hear it out, hear the situation. They might take a very straight shot, said, I don't care what you think. Let me be ugly, but because you are contented, you're not happy, So you said, I want to do it, So I don't care what Noah and Naomi think about it. And threw a little face there, and eventually your dad said, I don't care your face, your emotions. I will just tell you, you're not supposed to go that risk. Don't do it. And maybe, he's the son Noah said, take away of your bike. So lock it up. He made that decision for you. Elijah, what are you going to do at that point? It's your father making that decision, right? Imagine it's the person, not your father. It's a police officer or the judge. Who you want to have in terms to not participate in the race? Who you wanted to involve this whole process from place? Maybe eventually you can run the race, right? So make it sense to who you want to interface with through the process. Your siblings, your father, or the court. Or your friends' parents, your friends, get involved. Who is better to get involved? Even you're not happy about it, right? The decision you never able to participate in the race. That's conclusion of the matter. So point am I making is oftentimes because dysfunctional Christianity we encounter raise it up, we don't actually see these things as a beneficial endowment in our life. Making sense to you? The second thing we only enlist those time helps when trouble's happening. Rather than right now, we're sitting down top of things, seeing part of things. This kind of conversation I can't carry it out. People said, oh, it's such redundant topic, it's real remote topic. it's no use. It's just some good idea flying around. Well, we talk about it, right? So, and eventually you're going to run into life decisions. And do you have to, at that moment, be furnished with understanding, good counsel, good explanations, or you intuitively said, okay, I've been there before. Even it's not this particular occasion, but it's the same context, same principle, same counsel. I don't need to struggle. I understand what I need to do. It's almost like intuition. Which is better? When you're facing the urgent need, suddenly need a counsel, maybe you do the right one, but everything is like a flood rush on you, right? So overwhelming, right? So all things are like a gentle stream. You carry you to a place. You don't even where you're doing the right thing. You just naturally did the right thing, knowing the pray for us. I hope you guys understand where I came from, right? So you want things continue to impact you like a flood, or you want life to be peaceful and beneficial like a gentle stream. So go ahead.
Yes, Lord, I do pray that we would strive to live a life of wisdom and of peace. Lord, surely peace does not simply mean a state of calmness and tranquility. Lord, for indeed life brings many hardships. Lord, but rather peace is, Lord, the reality of the practice of your way in life, Lord, being manifest in our own lives, Lord, as individuals and as a family, as a community. So, Lord, may our minds not be solely focused at all times upon, Lord, rights and wrongs. Lord, in this way, having a conscience of sin, Lord, rather than a conscience of the Son and who you are, Father. But rather, may we live according to a standard of and a practice of wisdom, Lord, that makes, Lord, your law and your governance and your life and light, Lord, a reality to us. Lord, that we would walk in it every day, Lord, in our relationships, in our inner life, and in our outer engagements. So would you bless this and each one that pursues it? In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. Well, I don't think the next one you want us to read it. Basically, about appreciation music, no? Why don't you read the text there? So. Translation.
Okay. The master said, from the time music master Zhi begins to the closing strains of the cry of the osprey, as mentioned in the commentary 320, the cry of the osprey is the first of the odes. It was often used to refer to the odes in general. How one's ears are filled with a wondrous ocean of sound.
This is beautiful music, you know.
He really liked music.
He liked very much music. He said he likes music so much he forgot to eat, you know. So, I mean, has to understand those days people don't perform very well in the orchestra. Hardly, you know, have people all the instruments piled together do a performance. So once he get in attended one, it's like a symphony, you know. You know, oh, it's like he can eat. He walk away. It's so overwhelmed. The music is playing in his mind continuously, you know. So, I mean, you imagine people never heard a song, you know, never heard orchestra.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, today we have fun, everything just bombard us with all kinds of beautiful music.
Yep.
But imagine those people don't seldom have occasion to hear some play instruments. Suddenly, all the best players come around, perform as a masterpiece. And you know, it's like can be so overwhelming, you know. So, man, I remember the days. Somebody carried a little radio. I heard the tune playing the radio. I said, "What? People actually can do that?" So I follow him everywhere, man. He usually said, get away! Why you follow me?"
That's funny.
Yeah, music comes the little radio, man. It's beautiful. Making me just like cannot concentrate. you know, study, you know.
Yep.
I can't wait next time, you know.
It kind of shows today
Yeah.
in our society how
Uh-huh.
like overly abundant music is that there is such thing as study music, because some people say that it's ridiculous to listen to classical music while studying, because classical music is meant to be like absorbed and focused on
That's
intently
right.
while you listen to it,
That's
rather than
right,
just being
that's
background
right.
music.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you need the engagement, you know.
Mhm.
So, no. Who is a music lover here? I don't know. It is. Who loves music? Elaine
I love
is. Come on, don't be shy. What about you guys? Oh, so what kind of music you listen?
It's pretty good.
Esther is funny. Esther like music. No. What else you know? Play piano.
Oh, I kind of want to start playing piano again.
You what kind of music you listen to?
I'm not much of a music.
You raps? You raps? No raps. Okay. No hip hops.
I don't really listen to much music.
You don't do rap music?
Nope.
Okay. That's fine. Everybody have faith. So, what about you? You listen to raps? Some, yeah, it's understandable.
Not understandable to me.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Okay, I've been less due to Elaine and John's influence. I began to really appreciate bluegrass. Oh, it's so beautiful. I began to sing along. Yeah. Bluegrass. In the beginning, they introduced bluegrass, man. To me, I said, "What in the world is this?" You know, so remember your dad introduced a band play with you and your mom, you know?
They're really good.
They're really good. In the beginning, I said, "I want to listen to this." Yeah. Yeah, I really like it. So, anyway, it's just so dedicated music and this. Well. About music, the next one I'm gonna wrap it up. Then the next one is 811. This is a very good one as well. Not really always good one, but this is maybe the critical tune on it, right? So 子曰，狂而不直，同而不悦，空空而不信，吾不知子矣。吾不知子矣。Okay. Naomi, can you read it for that translation?
Yes. The master said, people who are wild without at least being upright, simple-minded without at least being honest, or
Ingenious.
Without at least being trustworthy, I simply do not understand them.
I don't understand them either. I don't understand why they do that. We all have a problem, but in general, that's way of life. That's terrible, you know, like it wasn't a lost soul. This is a person never knows themselves, right? So, anyway, Noah, go ahead.
Comparing this passage with 17:16, the point seems to be the absence of any redeeming qualities in many of Confucius' contemporaries. As Whaley puts it, in old days, people, at any rate, had the merits of their faults. And Brooks note that students should have virtues proper to their shortcomings. What is apparently lacking is some worthy native substance that could serve as the basis of self-cultivation. According to 522, at least some of the young people in Lu were exceptions to this unfortunate trend.
No, self-cultivation. That's like the article we're writing, or essay we're writing called self-discipline, right? So, part of our self-cultivation. Okay, Elaine, comments on this one?
I don't know if I really have a comment. Seems kind of straightforward.
Straightforward,
Yeah, I don't
huh?
understand. Yeah. Just not being aware of your ways or having any kind of conviction in being trustworthy or honest or any
Almost
semblance of upright.
No standard, right? No principle, almost, yeah.
Just overall, they lack the way.
Yeah, like the way. I like that. No guidance in life, almost. Okay. with that, unless anybody have a further comments, then we'll wrap it up. So this study can be boring, but also can be very enriching when you apply to real person, real situations, right? So yeah, remember the guy's name, Abigail's husband. What's his name? Abigail. Abigail is one of the wife David's former husband was a terrible guy.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Nabal and Nahum. You know, you don't know the story at all. Okay. But anyway, so he's just a little bit foolish, right? David was angry with him because of foolishness. Abigail had to rush ahead to beg for David for mercy to spare his name, right? So remember that? And God was unhappy with that man. He called him to die. So Abigail then, decided to enlist David's support and become his wife later on. So that's the story. But the thing about the husband is a ruthless man. So yeah, okay.